Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. Today we are going to create this nice resume. As you can see, so we will create this resume with HTML and CSS only. So let's check out this resume. Here as you can see, we have this nice layout and we have all the necessary section, and you can actually add more section if you want. And here you can see everything is looking very nice. This layout, it is really important how we will create it. I will show you how we will use flex, we will use grid to make this kind of layout. In the bottom you can see we have two more section, contact and the socials. So you can click any of the social icons and it will take you to the social account. And also here we have this nice button. When you will click this, it will open your resume PDF, and from here you can actually download your PDF if you want to. So that's what we will create. So this is also a really important thing for your resume. It should be responsive. So that's what we will do in this video. We will make this whole layout responsive. So you can see in the mobile device it will look like that. So whenever you will browse the website or the resume from the mobile, it will also look good. Yeah, as you can see in the mobile it is looking good. And also let's check out about the pad. So in our iPad you can see it is looking really nice. So which means in any kind of device it will look really nice. So that's what we will do in this video. We will create this nice layout, and no more talk, let's do it. So first of all, here let's actually create some files. So I already have the files, if you can see. So I have this index.html and the style.css, but those are empty for now. And also here in our images folder I have this image. So basically you should have your own image here in this file. And also I have this cv.pdf, if you can see here. So this file, so it is actually a PDF version of our design, which we will download if we click the download button. So I will show you how we will use that. So just basically have your own image and create index.html and style.css, and also have a PDF file of your CB. So that's what we will need here. And after that, let's come here in our HTML. So let's create the boilerplate and let's change the title to resume. And here in our body, let's have a div with a class of container. And in our this container, I will have my first div. So if I come here in the end project, so here you can see this is the whole website that we are going to create here. So the first thing that we will create is this section, the first section, which is the profile section. So let's create this profile section. So for that, I'll need div with a class of profile. And inside that I will have a div with a class of profile container, and inside that I will have another div with a class of profile image. And here I will have the image, and the image that we will use is the profile image that I already showed you. And also let's have a alt tag, and I will make it my name. So basically whenever if in any case if this image doesn't load, in this case it will actually show this alt text. So yeah, that is good. So after that we will have the description part. Here in this div we will have h1. So here I will have my name. So let's have a class name with the name of profile name, and here I will have my name Shaif Arfan. And after that we will have my paragraph, where I will have my title, which is the software developer. So let's copy this here and put it here. And also let's have a class name which will be profile title, like that. And also I'll have another paragraph which will be for our description. So here you will write some information about yourself. So this will be the description. So profile, I think I will have only the description class, like that. And here I will have some demo text for now. So let me copy this text from here and paste it here. So if I save that, If I come here and refresh, I should see all the information that we put here. So after this paragraph, we also need to have a download button. So let's have this href, I mean anchor tag, and inside the anchor tag we will have this href, and in this href I need to actually select my PDF. So I will actually give the path of the PDF that we want download in this button, and also let's say the text, which will be the download button. And if I save that, also we need to add a attribute here, which is the download attribute, and here we can actually provide a name for this file. So let's say that resume.pdf, and if I save that, if I click this button, now it is actually opening in a new tab from where if you want you can download. And also if you can see here in the top, the name of the file is now resume.pdf, which we mentioned here. So with this attribute you can actually change the name of the file, and that's it for now. And also we need a class name here, which will be download button, and that's it. And also beside that, let's link the CSS. So in our CSS, the first thing that we need is the font. So let's come here in the fonts.google.com, and so here in our fonts.google.com, I just need to come here and search for Inter. So Inter, and here it is, the Inter font. So now I need to actually select all the font weights that I will use here in this project. So let's start with the 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, yeah, those are the weights. And if I come here, I can see the import tag for this font. Just grab the import, not the whole style. So copy that and paste it in your top of the style.css. So that's it. And after that, let's reset the style here. So with the universal selector, I will just say padding for all element will be 0, and the margin will be 0, and also box sizing will be the border box. So now if I save that, now you can see all the extra padding and the margin are gone. So that is good. And after that, in our root, we need to actually create some variables. So primary color. So the variable that we will use, the value will be ff7613. So this kind of orange color, yeah, that will be our primary color. Also we need a text color. So for the text color, we will say 727171. So this will be a kind of grayish color. So those are the variables. And after that, in our HTML, we need to set our font size. I mean, this will be our base font size. So font size will be 10 pixel. So if I save that, now as you can see, the font size for this whole website is now 10 pixel, which is smaller than the default one. So that's why all the font size is now looking a little bit smaller. And also in our body, I need to actually set the font family. So font family will be the Inter. So this font family that we got from the fonts.google.com, if you remember. So if in any case, if this font doesn't load, in this case we need a fallback font family. So for that I will use sans serif. So once I do that, you can see all the font in our website is now changed with this new font. And after that, I will have the background color black and the color white. So if I do that, I can see everything is now have a black background and a white font color. So good. So once we are done with that, so let's also have some common styles. So in this group of styles, we will have all the styles which will be applicable for multiple places. So I will show you that. So in this common styles part, I will have the styles for our anchor tags. So let's say that all the anchor tags will have this style, which will be text decoration will be none, and let's say that color will be white. So now you can see this is now changed. And also we need another thing, which is the image. So for all kind of image, the width will be 100% of its parent. So in this case, this one will have the 100%, as you can see. So for now, that's it for our common style. After that, let's go to our container. So we will have another group of style, which will be the layouts. So in the layouts we will actually have those styles which will shape our project. So like the container. So if you remember, we have the class container here. So this is one of the layouts class, I mean, which will shape our project. So for the container, I will say max width will be the 1000 pixel, and also the width will be around 90%. And if I do that, you can see the width is now 90% and it is in the left aligned. So what I want is I want it in the center. So for that I will say margin 0 and auto, and it will have the center line, as you can see. So after that I will have the display grid, and also here I will have some padding. Padding will be 5 rem all around, and also to see that I will have a background color. So the background color that I will have is 07 07 07. If I save that, so now you can see this light black color. So this is our container, and if you can see here, we have some padding in the top, in the left, in the bottom, I mean all around we have 5 rem padding. And also we are having this display grid. I will show you what it will do. It will actually hold this structure. So here inside that we will have this profile, and also we will have this 2 column, left and right column, and also we have this bottom. So this will be inside of this grid. So that's why we are having the display grid in the container. And after that I will show you how we will actually separate those groups later. So now beside this we need to actually create the column. So if you remember here, so you can see we have 2 columns. So this is the left and this is the right. So that's what we need to create. We need to create those 2 columns. So let's say that grid template columns 1FR 1FR, and if I save, now you can see this is 2 columns, 1 columns for this profile. So the second column is now empty because we do not have the content for this one. And after that let's have some gap. So gap will be 4 rem. So this will be good for now. And also for our small device, so let's have a media query, media only screen, and max width 768 pixel. So for our small device which is smaller than 768 pixel, so for that I will say the container will have the width of 100%. And if I save that, and if I change the width, as you can see in this case it is actually getting all the 100% width. Previously it was 90%, but now it is actually having the 100%. And also beside that I will make this whole thing means grid template columns only 1 column. So I'll just say only 1FR. Previously it was 2FR, now it is 1FR. And if I save that, now it will take the whole space because now it is 1 column layout. So after that I will say the padding all around will be 3 rem instead of 5 rem, and gap will be a little bit bigger than previous, so 7 rem. So that's it. So after that let's actually come back to our large device. So here I will actually go to our profile dot profile. So here in our profile I will say, so if you remember, this profile will take the 2 columns width. So right now it is actually taking only 1 column and second column is now empty. What I want is I want this profile to take the whole width. So for that I will say grid columns. So grid column I will say 1, and after that end of the column. So it will start from the 1 which will be from here, and also it will take all the available column that we have. So in this case we have 2 columns and it will take 2 columns. And if I save that with that style, now you can see it is actually taking the 2 columns. And after that what I want is I want some margin bottom here. So margin bottom 2 rem. So that's it. So once we have this style, after that we will have to our specific group. In this case it is profile. So in the profile we have we need to actually style all this stuff that we have. So we need to style that inside this profile group. So this is just to understand, means whenever you will see this style.css, you will understand. So these are the common styles. So these are the layouts styles, and also whenever you will see the profile comment, which means after that all the styles will be for your profile section. So that's what I mean. So in our profile, I will actually first of all style this profile container. So profile container. So we have this profile container. So the reason we are having this container is actually we will use flexbox. So here you can see in the right we have our information, and in the left side we have our image. So we will create this layout with flexbox, and that's why we have this profile container, where I will say display will be flex, and also the gap will be 2rem. So once we have that, by default the flex direction is row, which means it will create a row in 2 columns. So now we have left column and the right column, and that's what we have. And also between these two we have 2rem gap. So that's what we need. And also profile image. So profile, inside the profile we have our profile image, where I will say max width will be around 250 pixel. So after that we need to actually style our name. So this name, and here we can see this name is actually having 2 different kind of styles. So this one is having some kind of lightweight style, and this is having the bold, and it is also having different kind of colors. So for that, what we need to do is, in our name we have this name, and we need to actually wrap this 2 part of name in separate span. So let's do that. So here I will say I will wrap this first part in a span and paste it here, and also I will do the same thing, and I will grab this and put it here. So now we have the same thing, but the first name and the last name is actually having its own separate span tag. So it will not change anything in our view, but now what we can do, we can actually give them a separate class and style them separately. So I will name it first name, profile name, and first name, and I will have the almost same, but in this case it will be last name. So that's it. Now we have these 2 separate class which we will need here to style those first name and last name. So I will say profile name first name, and here in our first name, let's say that the color will be white, and also the font weight will be 200, which will be lightweight, and font size will be, so I'll use the clump here. So this function, this is a very handy function here. What I will do is I will say the minimum font weight for this one will be 2rem, and the maximum will be 4rem, and between these 2 value we need to actually set our actual font size. So here I will say it will change according to our view width. So I will say 8 view width, and if I do that, I can see that this is actually changed here. And one thing, it is not actually having 200 font weight. Okay, so we actually mistakenly added font size, but it should be font weight. Now you can see it is now having this lightweight. So to show you how this actually clump works, I need to actually go to inspect, and after that I will go to my mobile device here. So here you can see now we can actually change the width of our view width. So now if I change my view width here, just look at the name. So here I am saying that the lowest amount of font size it can be is 2rem, and the highest amount of font size it can be is 4rem. So that's what it means, and between them the actual font size, which will be a dynamic, which will be changed based on our this width, as you can see. So now we can see this is the lowest amount of font width, font size 2rem, and if I make it larger, so here it is, so this is the highest amount of font size, which is the 4rem, and between them it will change the font size based on our this width. So this is really great. So now once we have that, let's actually come back, and after that let's say that I want everything in the uppercase, so I'll say text decoration, text transform will be the uppercase, and finally display will be block. So that's it. So whenever I will have display block, it will take whole space, which means the next thing, which is the Arfan, will come to the next row. And that's it. And also I will have some margin bottom. So margin bottom will be minus 0.8 rem. So it will actually take this next row a little bit upper, so that will be fine. And finally I will have my last name style, so profile name and the last name, so it will have almost similar kind of a style. So in this case I will have my primary color as a color, so if I save that, I can see that color is now changed, and also the font weight will be so 700, and finally the font size will be, so let's say that clump once again. So this clump will have 2.5 for the minimum, and the actual font size will be 15 p width, and the highest amount will be 7 rem. And if I save that, now you can see this huge font size. So after that, text decoration, text transform will be uppercase as well, and finally display will be block. So that's it. Now we have our name, and after that we need to style our title. So profile title, and here font size will be 1.5 rem, and also font weight will be 400, and text transform will be uppercase. And if I save that, I can see this nice title. And after that, the description. So for the description, you can see, so this is the description, and if you notice this style, it is actually having the same style in our, you can see in all over the place we are having the same description style. So this style is also here in almost every place. So what we will do, we will style this description in our common styles. If you remember what I said, so all the common styles means the styles that will be applicable for multiple places, we will do it in our common. So here I will do the description. Here I will say margin top will be 1 rem, and also font size will be 1.5 rem, and font weight will be 400, and color will be variable dash text color. And if I do, I can see the style is here, which is great. So after that, let's come here in our download button. So for the download button, so for our download button, I'll say display will be inline block, or you can just say it block. And also here I'll say text decoration will be underline, and the font size will be 1.6 rem, and finally margin top will be 1 rem. And if I do, I can see this button, which is looking good. But what I also want to do is I want to actually change its color whenever I will hover. So let's do that. So download button, if I hover that, in this case I will change the color. So color will be, in this case, not columns, color, so it will be a primary color like that. So now whenever I will hover it, as you can see, the color is changing and it will download our resume. So that's it for this section. And also I want to do one more thing. Whenever I'll go to a small device, as you can see in our small device, I want to show this thing in a row, in a column. So for that I will come here and say media only screen and max width 768 pixel. So whenever I will be in the smaller kind of device, I will say profile container. So remember this profile container which is having this display flex. What I will do is I will change the direction of this flex. So flex direction will be the column. So now if I save that, now you can see now it is in column and it is looking good for our small device, and whenever I'll go to the large device it will be in row. So that's it. So after that, if I come here, so this is our first group which is the profile, and after that we have this left side and also we have this right side, and after this we have this third group which is this bottom side. So we will actually name those things. So let's say that after this profile we'll have a div with a class of group1, and I will copy this 2 more time because I will have group 2 and group 3. So now we have group 1 for this left side, group 2 for the right side, and the group 3 for the bottom. And let's work on our first group which will be for our left side, where we will have all the expertise, reference, education, and the certification. So those section will be here. So first of all the expertise. So let's actually create this. So for that I will have a div with a class of let's name it skills, and inside that we will have our h3 which will have this title, so expertise, and after that I will have a ul, and inside that I will have li, and where I will have these all expertise name. So let's actually copy this name and paste it over here, and here it is. We have all the names, and if I save that I should see the section. So let's style this. So here for that, let's come here in our styles and let's create a new comment with the name of expertise. So here we'll have our styles for the expertise, and here also we need some classes for our ul. So for our ul I will have a class name which will be the skill list, and also beside that I will have another class which will be the description. So if I add this description class, if you remember we already have the style for this description class, and if I add this you will see immediately some difference. So now we are having this description style, but also beside that we need some separate style for this list. So that's why we have this skill list which will actually apply some other styles that we need for this specific case. So let's actually grab this skill list. I will say in the top I will have 1 rem gap, and also margin left will be 2 rem, and if you save that, now you can see now it is having margin left 2 rem, and also the line height here will be around 2, and if I save that, now you can see it is now a little bit more readable and it is looking nice. And the next thing that is we need to style this title, and also if you notice this title, we're actually having the same title in many places. So this is also something that we should style in our common styles. So let's style it here, the title. Here let's say that the color will have the variable primary color, and also the font weight will be around 700, and finally font size will be 2 rem, and text transform will be the uppercase. So if I save that, now we have this nice title, and also this is now in common styles. Whenever I just need this title, I will just add this class, it will have the nice style automatically. I will show you that in a moment. So this is it for our first section. So after that we need the next section which is the reference. So let's create this. So for that I'll come here inside the group 1. After the skills we will have the next div which will be for our reference. So let's actually name this. So I will name this reference ref, and after that, and here the first thing that I will have is h3 title. So let's have a class title, and here I will say reference, And if you remember, we already have the styles for the title class. So for that reason, whenever I will add this class and save that, it will automatically has the style, as you can see, reference. So that is really nice. And after that, here I will have some div, so it will be reference div. So for our individual item, so here you can see we have two reference. So for each of individual item, we will have this div, so reference item, and inside that we'll have the reference name and the reference description. So it will be h4 with a class of reference name, and here I will have Rashid Chaudhary, and I will have some paragraph. So this will be our reference description, and this will have the description class that we already have. So for the description, I will just copy some text and I will paste it here. And if I save that, so here you can see we have the description style already, and also we need to style this name later, but everything is looking good. So we will have two items. So let's copy this first one and paste it. So now we have these two items, as you can see, and we need to style that. So for that, let's come here and let's create a section, and let's say that reference, and here I will have the style for our reference item. And for the item, let's say that I will have some margin in the top, 2 rem, so it will separate them from each other. So here you can see nice spacing between them. And after that, I will style the name. So for the name, I will say font size will be 1.6 rem, and font weight will be 700. So if I save that, now you can see this nice name is actually having nice style. So great. And also here you can see we are actually having no separation between these two sections. So between expertise and the reference, we are not having enough space. So for that, we need to go back to our layout styles. So here we are having some layouts. So here I will have the gap. So for that, I will need some style in our group 1. So group 1 will have a flex, so display flex, and also it will have some gap between its flex items, so 5 rem gap. And also we know that by default it will actually make it flex row, but what we want is we want a column. So let's actually change the flex direction for that and make it column. And once we do, now you can see 5 rem gap between each of our flex items. So in this case we have 2 items, and between them we can see 5 rem gap. So that's it. So next thing that I will do is I will add our education. So let's actually come here and create that. So after our reference, let's get another div with a class of education. And here in our education, I will have HT title, where I will say education, and also we'll have a div with a class of edu item, and inside that edu item I will have some paragraph. So this will be the paragraph for our time range. So here I will have a class name. So this is our item, and I will have a class name here. So this will be item pre-title, like that, and I will set 2012 to 2014, and I will have some h4 here, which will be our title. So this will have a class name of item title, and I will say MC in CSE, and finally we'll have a paragraph which will have the class name of item subtitle. So item subtitle, and I will have the name of the university. So that's it, and that's our item. So I will have 2 of them. So let me actually copy that. So now what I will do, I will actually duplicate this for our second item, and if I do that, Now we have our 2 items, and if I come here in our website, I can see these 2. So MSc and BSc. So that's it. And also, if you remember, we have actually some pattern here. So if you can see here in these items, so these items are actually almost similar. So in this item, if we consider this is an item, we have some pre-title, we have title, we have subtitle, and the description. So we already have the styles for the description, but we can actually have a style for the pre-title, title, and the subtitle, and we can actually reuse that in many places. So in our education, we can actually have our pre-title, title, and the subtitle class, and in many places we can actually have this 4 or 3. So yeah, I will show that, but this is the concept. So if you actually consider this an item, we can actually have some style in common, and after that we can actually reuse those style in many places. So I will actually show you what I mean. So let's come here in our styles for our education. So here let's actually have a education section. So here I will have some style. So the first style that I will need is margin in the top for our each of our edu item, which will separate them from each other. So margin in the top will be 2 rem. So if I save it here, now you can see we have some gap between 2 of them. And also, as I said, we will actually style our item in the common. So if I come here in our common styles, and here I will style all the pre-title, title, and the subtitle. So let's come here and let's say that let's see what was the name. So item pre-title, item title, and item subtitle. So item pre-title, and let's say that for this one we will have the font size of 1.4 rem and color of variable, I mean we need to actually make it like that, color of variable around text color. So color will be text color, and font size will be, font weight will be around 300. So if I save that, now you can see this pre-title is now having nice style. And also we need to do the same thing for our title, item title. So font size will be a little bit bigger, 1.6 rem in this case, and color will be white, which is the default color we already have. So after that we also need the font weight of 500, and finally the margin will be 0.8 rem and 0. So if I save that, now you can see this style for our title is now looking good. Finally we need to change our subtitle. So item subtitle, so font size will be 1.4 rem and color will be variable dash dash text color, and finally we need the font weight 400. So that's it. So now we have this nice subtitle. So now we are having the style for our education, which is looking good. So after that, let's come back to our certification. So here after our education, let's have the certification. So div with a class of certification. So here let's say that certification like that, and here I will have a h3 with a class of title, where I will have also the certification text, and after that I will have the item, which will be certification item, and inside this item, we will have our individual certificate. So we will have a pre-title, once again the style that we already have. So item pre-title, so we will have the 2018, which will be the year for the certification, and also h4, which will be class of item title, which will be the name of our certification. So let's say that front end developer, and finally we'll have a class of item description, not item description, we will have the only description class. So this is the description class. For this class we already have the style, if you remember. So for the description I will have some demo text here. So if I save that, so if you notice that we did not write any kind of styles for this certification group yet. So if I save that, so now you can see still we are having a decent style for this, as you can see. So because in the certification group or in the certification section, all the class that we used here is from our common styles. So the only style that I need for this section is we need some gap between the title and the item, and here for that I will add only one style. So certification, so here I will say certification item actually. So this one will have a margin top 2 rem. So with this single style we are finished for the section. So after that I will go to the next section, which will be our experience. So remember this one will be in our group 2. So let's come back to our group 2 and have the style here, I mean have the content here. So for our group 2, let's have our div with a class of XP, and here I will have a div with a class of, not div, first of all we will have the h3 style, sorry h3 title, which will be experience, not expertise. And here I will have a div with a class of XP item, and here each of our item will have the paragraph, which will have a class name of item pre-title, and let's say that something like that. And also we'll have some h4, which will be for our item title, and here I will say software ltd. So just name an institution here, and after that I will have my paragraph, which will be for our class name item subtitle. And here in our subtitle I will say the position, so front end developer, and here after that I will have my paragraph of description. So I will copy this description that we had in our experience, so just paste it here and that will be fine. So now you can see we already having nice style, because all the classes that I used here is actually having a style from our common, so which is really nice once again. And the only style that I need is we need some gap between the title and the item. And also let's actually add another item here, and for that I will come here and paste it directly, and if I save that, now we have these 2 items. So now as you can see I have 2 items, really good. And after that come here in our styles and let's say that XP, and here let's say that XP item, and here margin top will be 2 rem, and if I save that, so between them now you can see 2 rem gap, and also in the top we can see 2 rem gap between the title and the item. So good. And after that we need to go to our next part, which is the awards, which is also similar to our this section, so this will be really fast. So after our this group 2 experience, after the experience we need div with a class of awards, and here in our awards I will have this h3 with a title, which will be awards, and also we'll have a div with a class of awards item, and inside that we'll have our paragraph with a class name of item pre-title, and here we'll have the year for the award, and also we'll have the h4, which will have the class name of item title, and here I will say the title for our award, so it will be something like that. So I will copy this here it is. So after that I will have some description, so paragraph with a class of description, and I will just copy this one that we have already, description. So copy it and paste it here. So that's it, and if I save that, I should see these awards looking good. But also we need another item, so let's copy this, and duplicate this one. So copy, and after that duplicate this, and if I save that, now we should have 2 awards here. So finally we need some style here, so let's come here and create a new section. So awards, and here in our awards I will say awards item will have some margin at the top, so margin top 2 rem. So now we should see some gap between them, which is looking good. And finally we need some style between the section. So the experience section and the award section is having no gap, so we need some gap, and for that I will do the same thing that I did in our left side. I'll go back to our layouts, and here in the group 1, beside that I will also add the styles for our group 2. So if I save that, so the same style will be applicable for our group 2, and now we can see 5 rem gap between the section. Great. And the final section for the right side is the interest, so let's actually use that or create that. So for the interest here, after this div, here it is, so after this awards div we'll have another div with a class of interest, and here in the interest I will have h3, which will have a class name of title, and I will say interest, and I will have a div with a class of interest items, and here each of our item, so div with a class of interest item. So for our individual item, you can see we will have an icon and also some text. So we will use feather icons here. So for that I will use the feather icon CDM. So for that I need to go to their website. So if you come to feathericons.com, here into their GitHub, so here you will find the documentation for their quick start. So what you can do, you can actually use their CDN. So this is script, copy that and come here in our HTML and paste it in our head. So once you have that, also what you need is you need this script. So copy this script and come here in the bottom, before your closing body tag, paste the script. So now this script, what it will do is it will replace all the icon tag with the feather icon. So what I need to do is now to add an icon, I need to add this icon tag. So come here and paste the I tag, and now what it will do is it will create an icon, as you can see. So let's actually do that. So for our icon we do not need circle icon. So for our icon we do not need circle. What I need is we need the music, and after that we need the text of the music. So span with the text of music, like that. So now if I save that, I can see music icon and the text. So we need the same thing for other items. So let's copy this and paste it after the div, and also paste it 2 more times. So the second one will have the book, and also I'll say book, and the third one will be map, and here I will say travel. So these are the interests. So come here in our style.css. So here after that, let's come here in the down and let's have a comment interest. So here let's say that for each of our interest item, so interest, for each of our item I will say margin top will be 2 rem, and display will be flex, and align items will be center, and finally flex rep will be rep, and gap will be 2 rem. So now as you can see here, okay, it is not having the flex, display flex, because we have a mistake. So this will be items, so we need to add this as here. So what it will do is it will make it flex. As you can see, now we are having this in a row, so that's what we need. So interest item, so this will be now singular item. So this singular item will have a font size of around 1.5 rem, and also display will be flex, and flex direction will be column, and align items will be center, and justify content will be center, and finally gap will be 0.5 rem, and finally color will be variable dash dash text color. So that's what we need. And if I save that, if I save that, as you can see, it is looking really nice. We are having flex, that's why it is actually having, as you can see, in the center of each of our item, the icon and the text. So everything is looking good. And after that, let's also change the SVG width. So for each of our item, the SVG will have a width of 2 rem. So that's it. Now it is looking much better. So that's it for our interest item. And after that, if I come here in the, so we are done for our group 2. Finally, we need to work on our group 3, which is the contact and the socials. So let's come here in our group 3. So first of all, let's have the contact. So I'll have a div with a class of contact, and here in our contact I'll have h3 title, which will be contact, and also we'll have a div with a class of contact info, and inside that I will have the paragraph, which will have the class name of description, and here I will have my city name, and basically you will have your address here. So that's it. After that, you will have the next paragraph. So this will be for our telephone number. So also I will have the same class here, description, and here I will have my number. So basically you will have your number here, and finally I will have my Gmail or mail here. So description, why I don't know why I changed that. So this will be description class, and also here the mail will be shaifarfan08@gmail.com. So that's it. Now if I come here in our website, I can see these three contact info is looking good. And finally we need some style here. So let's come here in our contact. So for our contact info, I think it is fine. As you can see, we do not need any kind of a style for now, but I will see if we need any kind of a style. So the last thing that I need is the socials. So let's actually add those. So for that, let's create another div after the contact. So after our contact, let's create another div with the name of socials. So first of all, I will have the title, and here I will say socials, and after that a div with a class of social item, and here for each of them we will have them inside of this href. So here you will provide the social link. So the first one will be for our let's say that for first one will be for our GitHub. So I will have the I tag where I will set data feather, and it will be GitHub. And if I save that, I can see my GitHub logo, and also beside that what I need is a span, and here I will say my username for the GitHub. So that's it. So this will be for our each of our items. So I will copy this and paste it multiple times. So now we can see each of our links here. So let's actually change them, and let's add up LinkedIn, and finally Twitter. So now we can see we have all the links. If you want, you can actually add more links here. So after that, let's come here in our styles and style those. So let's create a new section, socials. So for our socials, I will say social items will have a margin top of 2 rem. So now you can see in the top, I mean between the title and the item, we have this 2 rem gap. And after that, let's actually select all the individual item. So this will be singular social item, and here I will say margin top will be 1.5 rem, and also font size will be 1.5 rem, and display will be, let's say that flex. Do we have those social item class? So we are not having the social item class, but why? We should have the social item class. So in each of our anchor tag, let's have this class social underscore item. So let's copy this and paste it for each of our anchor tag. So now it should have this nice style where we can see the margin top, font size, and display flex. So great. And beside that, I will say the gap will be 0.5 rem, and also I will say the align items will be center, and justify content will be, so I will make it flex start so that it will be in the left aligned. So color will be, let's say that variable text color. So if I save that, now you can see nice social icons and the social links. And finally, whenever I will hover, I will change the color. So social item, and if I hover them, the color will be variable primary color. So that's it. So if I hover them now you can see nice color changing. And finally, the SVG, social item, the SVG will have a width of 2 rem. So that's it. And finally, what I need is I need to actually show them side by side, as you can see. So to show them side by side, I will go once again in our layout. So here in our layout, where we have group 1 and group 2, beside that, let's have a style for our group 3. So group 3 will have a max width of 700 pixel, and also width of 100%, and let's make it margin 0 auto so that it will be in the center. And also what I will say is it will take the 2 columns. Right now it is only taking the first column, but I want it to take the both 2 columns. So for that, I will say once again grid column 1/-1, and also display will be flex, and flex direction will be row. So if I do that, flex direction row, it will be now side by side, you can see. And that's it, I think. Also let's say the gap will be 5 rem. But here you can see still it is not taking the whole column, I mean whole width. The reason behind that is it doesn't need to actually take whole width, because the content width for this each of our columns, it is not actually not that large. So I will actually manually do that. So I will say group 3. So inside this group 3 we'll have the div. So immediate div will have a flex 1. So it will take, each of the div will take the 50% width. So now the left one will take 50% and the right one will take 50% width. So now it is looking good. And after that, I think we are almost done. And before we close that, I think we need to add this border. As you can see, not border, it is a HR. So I will actually add it before our group 3. So here we have HR. So we will have this HR here, and it is before our group 3. And let's come here in the bottom, and let's say that for this HR we'll have some class, I mean we'll have some style. So you can see this HR, it is not actually taking the whole width because it is inside our grid and it is only taking the first column. So first thing that I want is I want it to take the whole, I mean both column. So if I do that, it will take the both column, but I do not want it to have the full width. I want it to have only 80% width. Now you can see it is 80%, and also I want it in the center, so margin 0 and auto. Great. And finally I need some top and bottom margin, so margin top will be 5 rem and margin bottom will be 1 rem. Now you can see a little bit gap here. And finally border top will have a 2 pixel solid and will have some color of gray. And also before that, let's say that border will be none, so that if I actually remove this, I mean comment it out, you can see we will not see anything. But what I will do is I will have the border only in the top, so it will be back here as you can see. So fine, and let's actually drop the opacity like that. And finally we need to make it responsive, so let's say that in our media, so media only screen and max width 768 pixel, and for that I will have the HR margin will be 0 and auto. So what it will do is in the top and bottom we will have 0 margin. And if I come here in our small device, you can see this is now actually having this 0 margin in the top and bottom. So what I want to do is I want to actually make this thing, this group 3. So right now it is not looking that much bad, but what will be good is if we actually make the flex column. So if you remember, here we have our flex in our group 3. I want it in column whenever we will be in our small device. So for that, let's come here and let's say here media only screen and max width 768 pixel, and finally we will say here the group 3 will have a flex direction of column, and if I do, I can see now it is now in the column, so looking great. And here you can see we have this gap. Let's actually remove that for our small device. So for our small device I will say profile will have no margin bottom. Do we have a margin bottom in profile? Let's check first of all. So in our profile we have margin bottom 2 rem. That's what we do not need anymore. So that's it. I think it is looking good in our small device, and also in our large device it is looking really nice, as you can see. So we have now nice resume to check out, and whenever you will come here you will see this nice layout is ready to serve you. And also this button, let's check it one more time. Nice button working properly. So that's it. So that's it for this video. I hope you learned something. If you did, please let me know in the comment section. Do some comments, show your love. So that's it. And if you want to see more videos like this one, please subscribe the channel and also turn on the notification bell. So that's it for this video. I hope I will see you very soon in the next video. Till then, take care, bye bye, and Khuda Hafiz.